what do a lot of CEOs and organizational leaders have in common? More than 70% of them were athletes.
I remember I was just 12 doing my first laps and it was in front of the biggest crowd.
How do you see competitive sport at Branksome preparing our students for what's next?
Being able to grow and learn from failure. I think that a lot of people don't see what goes behind closed doors.
Go Highlanders! Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the PrincipalED podcast. We are so grateful to all of our viewers. It was so exciting in our first episode to see viewers and listeners from all around the globe. So we welcome you back for episode 2. If you listened and watched last time, today's podcast might look a little bit differently, might sound a little bit differently. We're not in the cozy quarters of my office or in our podcasting studio. We're coming to you today live from the Mattamy Athletic Centre. Woohoo! And why are we here, everyone? Because it's the best day of the school year. It's hockey day. Today is Branksome's annual hockey day, and we are honored to be here in this historic place. I'm sure some of you know, but some of our listeners from around the world might not know that this facility is formerly Maple Leafs Garden, the home of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's in this arena that they won the Stanley Cup 11 times. So hopefully that brings us some good luck today, huh, girls?
Yeah.
I am with some very, very special guests. Today I have with me some of our graduating year students who have been with the team since grade 7 and their incredible coach, and it is my honor to introduce them to you. So let's give them a wave, everyone. Coach Jenna Kelly, Tara Deca. We also have with us Mackenzie Williams, and we have Jessie Mercer. Welcome to the pod, guys.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun episode. Last week, we celebrated National Girls and Women's Day in Sports. Such an important day for our athletes and such an important day for you, I think, to be honored as athletes at our school. Something that you might not know about me is I wasn't an athlete when I was younger. I kind of was a late bloomer. So I played rugby for St. Thomas University, and I was a cheerleader in high school, but we were like a serious team. And what is interesting, and you might not know this, is that what do a lot of CEOs and organizational leaders have in common? More than 70% of them were athletes. But what the research doesn't say is that they had to be good athletes, which makes sense because I was terrible at both of those sports. But I had an awesome time. So really looking forward to hearing from you today. Today, we are also announcing officially our new Highlanders logo. It is so exciting. We launched it this week at one of our assemblies. The logo features a dynamic female warrior symbolizing strength, an embodiment of resilience. The shield reflects tradition and unity, while the action pose conveys vitality and determination. The green and white color palette emphasizes growth and our Branksome heritage, creating a powerful, modern emblem for Branksome athletic spirit and identity. Okay, folks, are you ready to get into some questions?
Ready, yes.
Okay, super. Here we go. My first question is for Tara. Tara, what is your favorite memory of your time playing here at Branksome Hall?
Well, I have a lot of good memories, very fond of them, especially over the last 5 years playing for the team. And I have to say that 5 years ago in grade 7, stepping on this ice for my first hockey day is probably my favorite memory. I remember I was just 12 doing my first laps and it was in front of the biggest crowd and everyone, like my friends and cheering me on. It was just it was a great experience and, I won't ever forget it.
A core memory.
A core memory, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Jessie, how has playing for Branksome shaped who you are as a person and as an athlete?
Definitely, I'd say as a person, I've learned definitely how to manage my time management skills way better, balancing hockey and school life and all of our extracurriculars has been very challenging over the past couple of years. But definitely with Branksome Hockey, I've learned how to develop and adapt to it very easily around our rigorous school. And as a person, I've definitely made so many deep connections with the younger grades and older grades. I'll never forget the grade 12s when I was in grade 7. Those 3 girls, I remember them so clearly. They introduced me to coffee, and it's very good.
Hopefully they introduced you to more as well, not just coffee. Mackenzie, our fearless goalie, your time is almost up. You've got very few games left. What are you going to miss most? about being part of this incredible team?
Definitely hockey day, I think, is the thing I will miss the most. But I think as well, Jessie and Tara both said it. Like being able to meet and talk with the younger grades is a huge thing. Like at Branksome, a lot of our clubs is more like focused on the senior grades, so we don't get that much interaction with like the grade 7s, the middle schoolers. So just getting like to be that mentor, like Jessie said, like I remember the grade 12s when we played in grade 7. So getting to be that mentor for them is really amazing.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Coach Kelly, over to you. We know a lot about the research with competitive sport. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the podcast, how so many organizational leaders have that in common of being athletes and being part of a team, but you get to see it in practice. You are a practitioner and you're living it. How do you see competitive sport at Branksome preparing our students for what's next, for university and college, for the workforce, and for the rest of their lives?
So I think there's so many different soft skills and hard skills that they're learning that will set them up for success. So like Jessie mentioned, time management, being able to balance, work, if you have a part-time job, multiple teams, school, exams, all of these stressful things, as well as trying to be in the moment in a social life and all of that. It's something that when you're transitioning into university or the workplace might be harder to manage, and they've already had years of practice with that. I also think a big thing is being able to grow and learn from failure, because there's a lot of people that are really successful even later in life and they have failed along the way. Even something as simple as a tough loss and getting in the dressing room, I think it may be even comparing to like a boardroom later. You're in the dressing room with 20 people.
Absolutely.
What did we do? What can we work on? How can we improve? And moving together as a team. There might be 10 different personalities in that room, but learning how to collaborate and work with other people is something that's really important and will set them up later as well.
You are absolutely right, Jenna. And we talk a lot about how do we teach our girls and students to have a no and turn it into a yes. And this is how do you take a loss and turn it into a win. It translates and is so transferable. What is something that you think people don't realize about the dedication that it takes to play hockey at this level?
I think that a lot of people don't see what goes behind closed doors and the actual work ethic and grit that it takes to get to that level and then maintain that status and potentially continue on. So Paige Beckers, who's the NCAA star for UConn basketball, women's basketball, she had an interview a couple weeks ago where she reached 2,000 points, and she talked about how, everyone sees that I've reached the 2,000 points and they see me on the court, but they're not seeing the 2,000 hours that I put into getting there and all the people that have helped me along the way. So I think about dedication. It's not just one person. There's many people that are involved in the journey and the process. And people don't see, the training when no one's looking and the dedication they're putting into the team and the common goals that the team has and all the extra hours that they put in. And especially for these girls, their parents or teachers or whoever also put in the work to get them to where they are.
Wonderful. I want to talk to you a little bit about equity in sport. Tara, I'm going to turn it over to you for the first question. What changes would you like to see in girls and women's hockey to create more opportunity?
I think a good change that I like to see is to see more like media coverage of women's sports. I know like with the PWHL, it's kind of, it's finally kind of getting some more recognition, but I think that there could be still a lot more media coverage. And even in like schools, like all girls schools like Branksome, or in, co-ed schools too, in like the elementary years, like introducing like, hockey to the students and playing in gym class, or like going on like a field trip to a game or to like the ring to practice, just like a skating field trip could be a really great way to like, start building the spirit at a young age too.
So more exposure and opportunity.
More exposure and more opportunity.
Wise words, Tara. Thank you. Jessie, who are some female athletes who've inspired you?
Definitely the famous ones, Natalie Spooner, Serena Williams. Those are my two favorite that I know. But also just all the girls and female athletes around me, like many of my teammates growing up. Like I'm really inspired by them. Like even at school, like all the rowers, hearing their dedication to wake up every morning and going to regattas and like managing that. That's really hard. So definitely all my friend athletes around me, them too.
Thank you. That's wonderful. They're going to love hearing that. That's wonderful, Jessie. Mackenzie, schools like Branksome, we're always doing our best. We're trying hard to make sure that there's equity and opportunity, but what can we do better? Now that you've had all this experience under your belt and you're leaving us soon, what advice would you give schools like Branksome to improve equity in sport?
I think that definitely just continuing to add more sports to our roster every year has been a really big change. I think definitely like with the addition of flag football, and I think rugby this year is a new one. That's encouraging people to participate a lot more than we've seen in past years, even from like our transition from being grade 7 to grade 12 at Branksome. Just the addition of more sports to our roster is really honestly improving like the kind of vibe around the sports community in our school, encouraging more people to come along.
I love that. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Okay, Coach Kelly, you're up next. I want to talk a little bit about advice for up-and-coming Branksome Hall players. What skills or qualities do you think are most important for success, specifically in hockey?
Great question. So I think there is always going to be those hard skills that are involved in sport. But I think really in terms of success, it's also those soft skills. So in terms of being able to work towards a common goal and being able to work towards something that's bigger than yourself. And also the mental aspect of the game is also really important in terms of the qualities and how are you able to utilize your self-confidence and your problem solving, or even for mental aspect, how are you able to cope with stressors and all of these things in terms of the qualities and skills that will make you more of a well-rounded player. I think a big thing is also being able to respond to feedback. So having that constructive criticism and being able to actually want to take that criticism and use it and understand that it's just for the better and it's going to help you later on.
Thank you so much. That is really helpful for our listeners and for anyone who's considering hockey as a sport. My next question is for our 3 players. You've talked a lot about, a couple of you said when you were in grade 7, you remember really looking up to the grade 12 students. You have students who are looking up to you this year. You're now in that role model position. What advice do you have for students who are coming up, maybe entering grade 7 and hoping to be you one day? What advice do you have for them?
From like a hockey standpoint, I think the biggest thing that I had to learn at kind of an older age is like there's never too much practice that you can get in. Even when you have that early Sunday morning practice that you really don't want to go to, it's worth it. You feel so much better afterwards. And the way that allows you to progress has been really helpful for me specifically. And I learned that a little bit late. My sister always used to say that I had to get up and go to the practices really early. And I would always say that I didn't want to. But looking back, that was the right decision, was getting up and putting in the effort. From more like a mental standpoint, I think it's just the positivity that you kind of have to associate with hockey. You have to come to the rink wanting to be here and wanting to see your teammates and play the game. And I think if you don't feel that, then you have to find something really joyful about the game to bring that kind of energy.
So consistency and positivity.
Yeah.
Wise words. Jessie?
I think definitely something that's really hard coming from a young age to like a team where there's a lot of variety of ages. That advice that I would give to a younger student is don't be scared of the older girls. I know we're very intimidating because it's kind of like older, like more like experience, I guess. But like we're all here for the same reason. We all want to help. Like definitely us 3, we love mentoring the younger students. We all want to help and just have a great time and bond over our love for the game and the sport. So don't be scared of us.
Don't be scared. Beautifully said, Jessie.
Yeah, I would say kind of like a combination of what both Mackenzie and Jessie said. Like, we do have that early Thursday morning practice, and, sometimes it doesn't look very nice to go to. But that's like in practice is where some great memories are made. You're there. Everyone's tired, but, you're there, right? And you're there to practice, to improve. And, as a grade 7, it can seem hard to go to with, the dressing room full of older students or people you don't know if you're new to Branksome too. So just like keeping an open mind and, really wanting to learn from people, I think.
Leaning into the experience and persistence.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, one more question for all of you, and then we're going to go into the speed round of questions. What is a pregame ritual that you can share with us? I heard about some bagels. Was that from you, Mackenzie?
Yeah, I have a very strict pregame schedule. I play a lot of hockey, so I've had to develop it over the years, but breakfast always bagel with cream cheese, specifically cinnamon raisin, if I have it in my fridge.
Excellent.
Cinnamon raisin bagel with cream cheese, always my pregame meal. And then when I get to the rink, I have, honestly, part of my pregame is just being around my teammates. That's one of the things I really love about the sport, so that kind of gets me in a positive energy. Otherwise, it's just music, and as a goalie, I practice like hand-eye coordination before I get on the ice, but otherwise, not much.
Jessie, what about you? Not much, just a full slew of pregame ritual.
I guess this is not really my pregame ritual, but my dad really believes in eating bananas before the game. That's a very good.
Jessie's dad.
Yeah. So I've had one this morning. Yeah. Every game.
Fantastic.
I'd say I'm big on the music like Mackenzie too. I like some good hype up music, and I really like listening to it like with the whole group. I think like, singing along or just getting dressed to the same music is always like a good way to, kick off the game together and on a good note.
Wonderful. And I know you've got one too, Coach Jenna. You told me yesterday.
Yeah, so when I used to be involved in competitive sports, definitely the meal before the day would be, carbo loading with the pasta. But on the day of, we would always listen to Al Pacino, Any Given Sunday. His speech about life is the game of inches would always get us so we'd all be in the dressing room with our heads down listening to it, and then we'd play our favorite pump-up song after, and we'd all just sing it out and then cheer, get together in the middle of the dressing room, cheer, and that's how we'd head out to every game.
I love that.
There also was maybe like the same socks, some superstitions going on, but
you said you always wear the same socks.
Always the same socks, like
you wash
my
them.
Skates. Yeah, I definitely wash them, like
course.
maybe, yeah, always, for sure.
Okay, guys, are you ready for the rapid fire questions? Yeah. All right. So I think we'll, for each individual. So I'm going to go through and ask you, and you get 2 seconds to answer, or you have to leave the podcast. Okay. No, that's a joke. You don't have to leave. Coach Kelly, what's a song that you play on repeat that we might be able to add to our Branksome Spotify list?
Well, there's Fighter by Christina Aguilera, or This Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. Like, if that's on, I'm on the treadmill. I'm always... Sorry, that wasn't very rapid of my answer, but... Girl on Fire, Alicia Keys.
You get one strike, but we're going to allow you to say.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that allowance.
Very, very welcome. Okay, Tara, are you ready? What's a guilty pleasure that you would never give up?
I'm someone who takes Sundays very, very seriously in terms of how relaxed I am, so I'd never give that up. Like, my family and I we make waffles. I sit in my pajamas until like 4 p.m., and I'm never going to give that up.
That's amazing, and I'll be there this Sunday. I'd like my waffles to be hot and buttered, please.
Yes,
thank you. Really appreciate that. Okay, Jessie, if you could switch lives with anyone for one day, who would it be?
Taylor Swift.
Obviously. Why?
Because I just want to be on the Eras Tour stage and just be her and dance around. I already know the lyrics. I feel like I could really adapt very easily. I could be her.
I believe in you. I think you absolutely could be her. Taylor Swift 2.0, Jessie's version. Okay, Mackenzie, best piece of advice that you've ever received?
I think definitely just take it one step at a time. My sister always says that you worry. I think 80% of the things you worry about never actually come true. And I'm a big worrier. So trying to keep that under wraps and just take it one day at a time.
Nice. Okay, this is for all of you. It's the last question. How do you want to be remembered on this team?
I want to be remembered as a fun player. I want to be fun most of the time. Really positive energy, bringing that to the game and in the change room, I think is a huge thing.
This is a tough one, but I guess since I only have brothers, I kind of want to be remembered as like a cool older sister, just like an older sister in general. Just someone to remember, I guess.
I have no doubt. Tara, what about you?
Yeah, I just want to be remembered as someone who's able to give good advice and is really fun to be around the whole team and just brings everyone together, I think.
I love that.
Spirit.
And Coach Jenna, these lovely kids are leaving you soon. How do you want to be remembered by them as their coach?
By them? Forcing them to come to the 6:30 a.m. practices they spoke so fondly about. No, I really want to be remembered as a coach that motivated them and was there for them in their last years and something that they remember fondly. Try to add some humor and fun to it as well, because life is too short to be so serious. But just trying to be that motivator and someone that maybe inspired them in some way.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. I need to let you go. You need to get ready for the game. We need you to win today. No pressure. If you don't win, we still love you.
But remember that fear of failure. So if we do, hopefully we don't have to deal with that today, but
excellent point.
We will be able to handle it if we do.
Excellent.
Branksome will still be behind us.
Yes, we will. And that is a perfect way to end this podcast. Thank you so much to all of our listeners and viewers. Please like us, follow us. We are so grateful that you're listening. And we're going to end today with a 1, 2, 3, go Highlanders. Are you ready? All right, let's get the mic together. 1, 2, 3, go Highlanders!